BC has just banned the world's most closely managed grizzly bear hunt for no real reason other than feelings. This isn't going to end well because it never does. BC is ending their grizzly bear hunt throughout the entire province. This comes on the heels of an August 2017 announcement that the province would be ending trophy hunting of grizzly bears and also stopping the hunting of grizzly bears in the Great Bear Rainforest. But let's be clear here, despite the BC government's protestations to the contrary, the hunt really isn't over, not really. It's just becoming a race-based hunt. First Nations and Aboriginals will still be able to hunt bears for food, social, and ceremonial reasons or to exercise their treaty rights. For me, a dead bear is a dead bear is a dead bear. Either you're against dead bears or you're okay with a few dead bears, which I am, and I'll explain that in a minute, but the race of the person who killed the bear shouldn't really factor into it. The bear is still dead at the end of it all. But even more wacky than making a race-based hunt of grizzly bears is the reasoning for creating a race-based hunt. The reason? Feelings. The race-based hunt is based not on ecology, not on biology, not even on facts. It's purely emotional. And I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. BC Forest Minister Doug Donaldson said, "It's mostly a social values issue. When it comes down to it, this species is seen as an iconic species for BC, and people just weren't willing to accept the hunting of grizzly bears anymore in this province." Social values is just another way of saying social license, which is just another way of saying feelings are more important than facts. So let me inject some facts into this discussion because, as Ben Shapiro says, facts don't care about your feelings. BC currently has a grizzly bear population of roughly 15,000 animals. These bears are closely monitored as any bears on the face of the planet, in fact. According to the same Ministry of Forests that decided to disregard science in favor of emotion, a 2016 report said BC has a very high level of rigor and adequate safeguards in place to ensure the long-term stability of grizzly bear populations, and BC produced more DNA-based population estimates for grizzly bears than any other similar jurisdiction in the world. And while environmentalists and concerned animal rights activists like to paint the BC grizzly bear hunt as some sort of Wild West free-for-all, it's certainly not. According to bearsinbc.com, the grizzly bear harvest has been consistently between 250 to 350 animals province-wide per year. What that means is the harvest rate of the bear population is only at 2%, which is far less than the maximum human-caused mortality rate of 5%. Now, those are often bears hit by cars crossing the road. And outfitters and hunting guides in BC can charge upwards of $17,000 for a single grizzly hunting tour. That's a huge economic injection into a rural community. According to animal behaviorist Othmar Vohringer, who actually lives in the Nicola Valley in bear territory, the grizzly bear population in BC has been steadily growing, and grizzly bears are being seen now in places like the Lower Mainland where they have been historically considered absent. Okay, so those are the facts about BC grizzly bears. Let's talk about what happens when you have too many apex predators at the top of the food chain. Now, apex predators have no natural predators. When there are too many apex predators, they begin to consume all the animals beneath them on the food chain. That hurts the deer and elk populations first in a region. And when the deer and elk populations and other food species begin to dwindle, the apex predators start to starve. And that's when apex predators get aggressive with people. In 2015, near Sparwood, BC, there were 4 separate grizzly bear mauling incidents in 1 month. In 2015, the amount of maulings in BC doubled from the year before as a hot, dry summer and a poor berry crop left the bears desperate for food. And we know from the Yellowstone grizzly bear experience, eliminating hunting season for bears can cause an explosion in their populations. In Yellowstone, bear populations have grown from fewer than 150 to more than 700 in 40 years. They've been taken off a threatened species list within the park, which could open the bears up for responsible hunting now in Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming. And remember, that's a much smaller bear population than BC's, but it's considered healthy and growing. But we can also look at the Canadian experience. Ontario banned their spring black bear hunt for 16 full years. Ontario was forced to bring it back in 2015 and then further expand it in 2016 after the bear population exploded. In fact, Liberal cabinet ministers of all people cited concerns about human-bear conflicts and bear hunting as tourism draws as a motivation to reopen the bear hunt. In fact, when the Liberals expanded the bear hunt in 2016, Forestry Minister Bill Morrow said bear-related concerns are a very real problem for people living in northern and central Ontario. The BC NDP have thrown the very real and scientific concerns of people who have to live in bear-populated areas into the garbage can to pander to downtown Toronto and Vancouver types who see the grizzly bears as cuddly, iconic, and apparently immortal BC creatures instead of the apex predators that they are. And if history holds true, after a few mauled joggers and eaten dogs as the bears continue to encroach on the lower mainland, the government will have to open the hunting season up again and maybe even cull the bears themselves in the interests of public safety. The BC government will create a problem, then spend your tax dollars to fix the problem, and then claim to be problem-solving heroes as governments tend to do. And if the government has to cull the bears, that brings no economic benefit to the communities who rely on hunting and guiding as vital parts of their local economies. Remember, each bear is worth at least $17,000 in a local economy. And the left will continue to blame people for, I don't know, being alive and living where the wildlife roams like we're some sort of plague on the face of the earth, trading the safety and local economies of rural folks for urban feelings. And those who sit in downtown Vancouver coffee shops sipping on overpriced lattes while ignoring history will be doomed to repeat it. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid. Did you know that I have my own weekly full-length show here at The Rebel? It's Alberta-based, but we cover topics that touch on everything. To get access to my show and all of our amazing premium content, become a Rebel subscriber today.